The story we are next going to talk about features subject matter who are the Real Housewives of Auckland, the Real Housewives of Auckland, that I didn't think we'd ever be talking about on ODT TV, but events of the last 24 hours on the Bravo NZ television channel, where the N-word was uttered towards one of the contestants from the other one, or one of the participants, has caused us to look at this issue as well as some broad issues. First of all, let's have a look at some video clip. Now, what I want you to specifically take note of is, now I've had to learn the names of the participants, unfortunately. I didn't want to, but I have. So Julia is the person who utters the N-word at Michelle, and I want you to specifically listen to the end of this first clip when Julia says sorry. We'll come back and talk about that in a second. Have a look.
Michelle was helping Gilda onto the sun lounger when I made a terrible joke. I said something to Gilda about Michelle not being her boat, but it came out wrong. It's an old boating term. I should never have said it.
Never, ever use the word.
Are you serious?
Julia, no, not even that's not a joke, baby.
Now, I don't know if you heard it very clearly, but Julia, who is the woman who used the N-word, was like, oh, sorry, like, oh, no big deal, sorry about that.
Yeah.
And clearly it was quite a big deal to Michelle.
Yeah. And she came across with, oops, just a bit of a thickie me, slipped out.
Yeah.
But I mean, quite frankly, I do drop the F word sometimes because it's something I use regularly. So for the N word to trip off her tongue like that, it suggests to me that she is a person that uses it often.
Yeah.
And then her apology was just, it wasn't worth the paper it was printed on, it was useless.
The follow-up to this part of the conversation, Michelle, I'm not sure of Michelle's age, what, 40, mid-40s? Maybe.
Yeah.
Has lived in New Zealand for 18 years, and before that lived in England, said no one has ever called her the N-word before, in jest and joking in a serious nature, comes to New Zealand, and an incredibly privileged white woman is the first person to do it, which is disgusting. But it really did affect Michelle in a serious way, and we'll just show you a couple of seconds of roll so you can see towards the end of the conversation when Julia approached Michelle to apologise, probably too soon, this happened.
Sorry is not acceptable.
I'm actually stupid for saying that. I'm really, really stupid. I was not thinking. I'm so sorry. I did not mean any harm by it.
Get out of my face, because honestly, I will throw you the overboard. How's and then you're gonna say boat? You're crazy. Honestly, get the out. Go downstairs. Julia, just get out. Julia! You stupid cow. You're stupid. You're an idiot.
So, you know, it's car crash television at its worst.
What I noticed with this was that Julia then said that she thought that Michelle had been unreasonable in not accepting her apology.
Yeah, don't come upstairs and yell at me.
Yeah, but also, you know, and not quite sinking in the fact that she had used a word weighted with 200 years of misery, and thinking that saying, oh, I really didn't mean that, you know, I didn't even think about it, would cut it.
I think as well, for me, there is more importance to this issue than not. The excuse from Julia was, oh, it's an old boating term. Well, it might be an old boating term amongst dirty racists, but like I've been sailing all my life, I've never heard the term. I don't sail with racist people. I also think that alcohol is often a revealer of our true self. You know, if you're a person who's got pent-up frustration and anger inside, you tend to be a violent drunk. You know, if you're a relaxed and laid back, so if racist words fall off your tongue after you've had a few, it probably says more about what is happening internally. But I got to say, this wealthy woman, based on her husband and husband's income in the past, who is privileged, who thinks she can say these things and not be such a big deal, says this in a drunken stupor, or at least a tipsy stupor, is one thing, right? That's one thing. No excuse of that. It's disgusting. She is a disgusting human being. However, Bravo New Zealand, the channel who's owned by MediaWorks, what they've done is they've taken this moment and they've been calculating and they've been methodical and they've hired lawyers and they cancelled advertising from last night's show and they've used it to build audience for their show. I actually think that is probably more disgusting overall. One woman who is a moron, I don't mean like, I'm not mocking her, I mean she's of low intellect. She's dumb, she's not smart, does this.
But don't you think she signed up for this? The others might be media savvy, and Louise certainly is.
Yeah.
And maybe she's just I mean, there's a camera there, you're on a boat, you're drunk, you're being primed to say things. It's a bonanza for them, as you said, but why wouldn't they run with it? That's why they're filming these women.
Yeah, look, I think that's probably testament to what we are as a society and what we want to watch. This is the first one of those I've ever watched, and I ain't going to be watching another one. But I just think that the idea of a group being calculating and methodical and using this moment of racism, let's be honest, of racism, to build their audience is repugnant. Now, Bravo NZ released a statement, if we can go to Q14, it says this: tonight's episode of Real Housewives of Auckland program is rated adults only. It contains language that may offend and material that some viewers may find upsetting. We gave a lot of consideration to ensure events are represented accurately. We feel it is important for the remark and subsequent events to be seen in context for viewers to be able to understand the incident and subsequent events.
Yeah.
It's just paled me a bit there at the end.
Yeah.
But it's never in context because it's reality television. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
But this has been news now for a week, and I'm really, really shocked. And what I was thinking was, you know how people get these events, they go, let's boycott the advertisers.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any point in boycotting the advertisers. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see the sponsors and advertisers comment on this. I'd like to see who the advertisers are next week in the show. I'd like to hear from their CEOs as to what they think about being involved in a show that has such casual racism thrown around. That's what I'd really like to know.
Time will tell, but I don't think you're going to be surprised.